Hey, it's a terrific Tuesday here in Bellringer land for living environment class. And let's see, we're on our top 10 countdown. We're on number 8. Number 10 was body systems, right? What was number 9? That's right, it was brains. And of course, today we have number 8. So stay tuned for number 8 on the top 10 things we've learned this year, biology, living environment, countdown of the year. Da 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 do 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 da 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 do do. All right. Da 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 do do do. Hey now. Da 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 do do. Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
It's interesting too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs class. Monomer, monomer, polymer, monomer, polymer, monomer, polymer, monomer, polymer. That's right, folks. Monomer, polymer. The 8th best thing we learned this year, monomer, polymer, were the building blocks of life. Monomer. The 4 essential biomolecules. They are. Do you remember their monomers and their polymer names? Here, let's take a quick review. Monomer, C6H12O6. Monomer, C6H12O6. What one was that? Good, that was glucose. And the polymer? Yeah, polymer would be a polysaccharide, a starch or fiber or something like that. How about this one? Monomer. Monomer. What's its polymer? Yeah, lipids are the polymers of fatty acids. Monomer. Monomer. This is nitrogen group and R group, and yeah, nitrogenous type molecule. It's polymer. Monomer. Polymer. Monomer. Polymer. Yeah, good. Proteins. And then finally, the 4th one. You should get this by now. Monomer. All right. Its polymer is a, yeah. Monomer, polymer. Yeah. Carbohydrates. That was the first one we learned about. Carbohydrates, the starchy things, also the sweet things, and they have come in monomers. We'd call them monosaccharides, like glucose. And then you put monosaccharides together, you get disaccharides. That's 2. You put disaccharides together, you get polysaccharides. That's many. Polysaccharides. Cellulose being a polysaccharide for sure. Right? How do you make polymers out of monomers? You do what's called dehydration synthesis. That is, you remove water. By removing water that sticks the 2 monomers together. Dehydration synthesis. Of course, carbs come in like complex, simple, and starchy, right? Simple sugars are the sweet ones. The complex carbohydrates are the starchy or fibrous ones. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. Yep, some carbs are complex. Get it? Pretty funny. Next, we learned about the lipids, right? The lipids are the fatty, waxy, oily, greasy things. Lipids, right? And their monomer, of course, is called a, that's right, it's called a fatty acid. And you put them together and you get lipids. And of course, lipids come in different types, but the main types are triglycerides, which are like food lipids, you know, like butter and stuff like that. Phospholipids, which are lipids that make up cell membranes. And then steroids and waxes and other types of lipids. Right? We know that phospholipids are really important for the cell membrane. You keep the cell membrane from dissolving in water. That's what allows cell membranes, the lipid part of cell membranes, to be so such a good boundary for living things, because they can separate inside and outside very well without having to worry about being dissolved by water. All right? Lipids. Let's see, what's next? Can't forget the proteins. The proteins, right? Of course, their monomer is called, good, amino acids. Amino acids, you put amino acids together and you make proteins. The proteins are probably the most important molecule for living systems or living organisms. And they can be used for a whole bunch of things, from structural to hormones Antibodies are made out of proteins, right? We've got different proteins in the cell membrane, right? We've got enzymes, we've got transport proteins, we've got channel proteins, we've got all kinds of different types of proteins that we've learned about already. Proteins. And the final macromolecule we've learned about has been the nucleic acids. We haven't spent too much time with these. We will when the new calendar year comes, but nucleic acids, of course, they are the DNAs and the RNAs. DNAs are double helixed, RNAs single strand, right? And their monomers are called, that's right, nucleotides. Nucleotides. If you string nucleotides together, you get monomers. And there are actually 4 nucleotides that make up DNA molecule, and we'll talk about that. And what's interesting about them is that the code for all proteins made by all living things are coded for by just 4 nucleotide chemicals, which is really kind of surprising if you think about it. But we'll talk about that when the new year comes. We've got 4 organic macromolecules, right? They were carbohydrates, that's the polymer. What's its monomer? Good. Number 2 was lipids, that's the polymer. What's the monomer? Great. Number 3 was proteins. Proteins. That's the polymer. What's the monomer? And then our 4th of the big 4 macromolecules were the nucleic acids. That's the polymer. What's the monomer? I think you're getting it, or you're remembering it. Yeah. All right, let's get to class today where we review macromolecules and then we talk about the game.